Let's get more on this now with Akiva Eldar, who's the chief political columnist and editorial writer for the Israeli national daily Haaretz. He joins us now from Tel Aviv. Welcome back to the program, Akiva. In the last hour, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed a strong, swift and accurate response to the latest attacks in occupied East Jerusalem. What could that response look like?
Well, I believe that Netanyahu is very embarrassed, as well as the Minister of National Security, Ben-Gvir. They used to show up in the theater of the attack and blame it on the government, on too soft policy against terrorists. They don't arrest enough Palestinians. They don't strike the Palestinian in Gaza. And now they have nobody to blame but themselves. Netanyahu's hands are tied because he doesn't want this escalation. He knows that in few hours, the American Secretary of State will touch down in Tel Aviv. And the events right now, including the Israeli attack in Jenin, actually will force the American administration to be more involved in the crisis and maybe even to revive the peace process, which Netanyahu is not able to move even 1 inch.
Yes, and these latest attacks came soon after an Israeli army raid in Jenin, as you mentioned, in the occupied West Bank on Thursday, which was the deadliest in 2 decades. And those followed the worst year of violence in Israel in the West Bank since 2004, towards the end of the Second Intifada. Do you believe what we're seeing now are attempts at another Palestinian uprising?
Yeah, I believe that the Palestinians are right now in a situation that they have not much to lose. Israel is using economic sanctions, not only against the 2 million people who live in Gaza, but also against the Palestinian Authority. Abu Mazen is getting weaker and weaker and doesn't have answers to his people. And now what you see is a young boy, 13 years old, that nobody can control, and it's getting spread into more, wider circles of the Palestinian people. And what you see, on the other hand, is escalation of the Israeli settlers, who are the constituency of this government. And what they want is to see a more aggressive policy, and naturally, aggression brings aggression, and it's going to be worse, much worse, before it gets better, unless the international community will force Netanyahu to reshuffle his coalition, because with this kind of coalition, the most radical that we ever seen since the establishment of the State of Israel, they don't have any answers.
Yes, and that radical administration is the reason why thousands of Israelis are currently taking to the streets of Tel Aviv as we go to where they're primarily protesting Netanyahu's attempt to exert more political influence over the independent judiciary. So Netanyahu has both security challenges and political challenges right now, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he has got his only legal problems. He will have to give good answers to the court in the near future. And as you mentioned, I just came back from another rally in Tel Aviv, and it's getting more and more difficult to get the diplomatic support from the international community, from the UN. For many years, Israel was arguing that it is the only democracy in the Middle East, and we deserve to have the support of the international liberal community. And now it seems that the international community, both the economic community, is not very happy with what they see now in Israel. And the Israeli people, the Israeli public, is far from showing support. Actually, today, many people were hesitating if to join the demonstrations because of the massacre in Jerusalem. But I'm sure that they will be back to the streets, and it will be more and more difficult for Netanyahu to ignore them. And don't rule out the possibility that Israel is going to hold a very broad national strike and stop the whole Israeli industry and services in the next few days.
Okay, Akiva Eldar, we will have to leave it there, but great to get your analysis as always. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you very much.